pre-car accident, again, this is only in hindsight. I didn't really know this at the time. This is kind of the transformation that I went through. Pre-car accident. So I'm 36 now. I got in a car accident at 26. To help the listeners, anyone watching or listening, understand why this was so powerful for me, my father passed away when he was 28 in a car when I was 2. So for me, this was sort of the second chance my dad never got. And the car accident was my fault. This was a head-on collision. And fortunately, I was driving a Volkswagen Passat, which was the safest car ever. I used to call it the tank. Usually, the high achievers are actually afraid of success because whenever they get more successful, their loved ones react very negatively out of their own insecurity.
We are told that success is doing more, pushing harder, and climbing higher. But what if the real breakthrough happens the moment we pause? Hello everyone. Welcome to Inward Strides with Salvi. Today I'm joined by Alan Lazaros, who is the CEO and co-founder of Next Level University. He's a global speaker and also a high-performance coach. His near-death experience didn't just change his life, it redefined it. Today's episode is not about bouncing back. It's about taking the next step with purpose, clarity, and from within. Hi, welcome to Inward Strides with Savni, Alan. How are you doing today?
I am good. I am sufficiently overwhelmed. We have an event coming up on April 5th called Next Level Live 2025. We do it every year, and so I'm overwhelmed, but in the best way.
So what is the event about?
Exactly what we're talking about today, which is personal growth, personal development, and self-improvement. It's sort of a checkout of your life to sort of check in. It's a 6-hour health, wealth, life, and love check out to really check in. It's 50 people, 5 groups of 10, and we have breakout sessions. It's sort of like a podcast, a speech, a training, and a workshop all rolled into sort of one.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Okay, I'll can you share me the link? I'll just post it down there in the description.
I really appreciate it. That is not, by the way, I want to make this as clear as possible. That's not why I'm here. You just asked how I am.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, no, but it was a great start. So,
okay. Of course.
So, let's get started. So, Alan, your accident, the near-death experience was a turning point for you, and you have shared it on different platforms. But today, I want to ask you this: what shifted in you internally that day, and how did it shape the person you became afterwards?
What shifted in me internally is my paradigm, and paradigm is a fancy word for what a person believes life is about. So pre-car accident, again, this is only in hindsight. I didn't really know this at the time. This is kind of the transformation that I went through. Pre-car accident. So I'm 36 now. I got in a car accident at 26. To help the listeners, anyone watching or listening, understand why this was so powerful for me, my father passed away when he was 28 in a car when I was 2. So for me, this was sort of the second chance my dad never got. And the car accident was my fault. This was a head-on collision. And fortunately, I was driving a Volkswagen Passat, which was the safest car ever. I used to call it the tank. Both airbags deployed, so I was physically okay. But mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was not. And so what shifted is, in hindsight, again, this is 10 years ago, prior to 26, I had a paradigm, aka a belief about life, that was, okay, life is about friends, it's about fun, and it's about achievement. So I was an achiever who had a lot of friends and a lot of fun. I brought my high school friends to college. I brought my college friends to corporate. I was very successful, and I had a lot of fun. Too much fun, in fact. And what shifted after that is a new paradigm, which is growth and contribution and quality of life. And that's my paradigm now. Is I used to drink a lot. I used to party a lot. I used to have a lot of friends. And now I am much more focused on positive impact, which is contribution, my own personal growth and personal development and self-improvement, and then incrementally improving my quality of life. And so my paradigm shifted from an achievement paradigm of external success at the expense of internal fulfillment to now a growth paradigm where I focus on internal fulfillment, and I hope that success will be a byproduct, and it kind of has been.
Beautiful. Yeah. So do you know, like you have an MBA, and do you know one thing we have in common is a degree in engineering?
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of engineering?
So I have done masters in computer engineering, and I believe even you have done the
bachelor's
in computer engineering
Yeah,
and
it was
the
brutal.
MBA.
Brutal.
So I have a question based on that. Don't worry, it's not like technical question.
Oh, you're good. I would love that. Bring me back to my college days. I actually spoke at my college on Wednesday to a group of engineers, 50 engineers, and this was their first exposure to business. It was interesting because the average age was 20 and I'm 36, and in tech years, you know how there's doggy years, 1 year equals 7 years? Well, in tech years, that, 16 times 7, whatever that is, it's been they grew up very different than I did, let's just say that.
So what part of engineering mindset helped you grow, and what part of it you have to unlearn?
So I actually have this written on my whiteboard over here. I'm a coach. I do coaching, training, and podcasting, and that's, at this stage, that's really what I do. Podcasting is 1 to scale, training is 1 to several, which I did early, when I spoke to those engineers. I consider that a training. And then coaching is 1 to 1. And I coach 20 people right now. 3 of them are actually 3 times a week, which is wild. But I have written in brackets, my engineering brain is what people pay for. What I'll share with everyone is, for me, everything is by design. Everything. And I found it difficult to coexist in a world where most people are just winging it. And so after 26, after my car accident, I got really into self-improvement and personal growth, and I wanted to redesign my life and redesign myself and redesign my habits and redesign my metrics and priorities and goals. And now I realize that I thought when I became a better man, people would like me more. Not true. Not true at all. So I tend to be very intimidating and all that, and that's all great. But how has engineering helped me? To me, systems and structure and discipline and conscientiousness and designing your future and designing your habits and metrics. I've been tracking metrics and habits for 10 years now, and all my clients and all my team members, I have a 17-person team, I have 20 clients on my roster, all of them track metrics and habits. They all have their top 3 priorities, just like I have coaching, training, podcasting. And so ultimately, I get paid for my brain, not for being liked. And I think that older versions of Alan would try to dumb myself down to try to be more likable and to be more relatable. And it wasn't until my 30s that I started doing therapy, and I started to realize, okay, this is what makes me different. I am a computer engineer. I do think in mathematics. There's 4 modalities of thinking. One of them is mathematics. It's the rarest by far, which is why we all feel unrelatable. Us engineers, usually engineers have high self-belief, low self-worth. I'm definitely in that bucket because we don't really coexist well with others because we think they're irrational, and they kind of are. And that's the truth. And so to answer your question, my engineering brain is my greatest asset, and it's also my least relatable quality. So it's caused a lot of social pain, but that's something that I've had to really learn how to lean into.
Wow. So you have worked with so many driven and smart and hardworking people, but why these high performers get stuck? What's that one thing that keep them stuck sometimes?
Usually they're socially cowardly. So there are some people who are actually afraid of failure, and they are afraid to be seen as a failure. So they don't want to start the business. They don't want to do the thing. And that's the majority. The majority of the population don't believe in themselves. The majority of the population is kind of winging it. But the achievers are not. The achievers have a system, and they know they're going to win, but they feel unlovable and unlikable. So Kevin and I, my business partner, the reason I know all this is because him and I have spent 8 years podcasting together, and we see from 2 different lenses. So he was the sort of blue-collar, We both grew up without dads. He didn't meet his dad till he was 27. My dad died when I was 2. I had a stepfather who left at 14. And so we both grew up raised by 2 women. So he had his mom and his Mima, and I had my mom and my older sister. And we grew up similar, and we both came from nothing. However, he was sort of the blue-collar, doesn't believe in himself, sort of underdog, didn't think he'd be successful guy, and I was sort of the smart, straight-A student, super achiever, quote-unquote guy. And what we've learned over the years working together is that some people have really high self-belief internally. It's called self-efficacy.
Mhm.
But externally, they are not very likable people. They're very intimidating, that kind of thing. So they dim themselves down socially. So there's 2 worlds we all have to live in. There's the real world behind the scenes, which is who you are and what you are when no one's watching. Then there's the social world, which is you at a barbecue. 2 guesses which one I like better, right? But the point is that usually the high achievers are actually afraid of success because whenever they get more successful, their loved ones react very negatively out of their own insecurity. And so Kevin and I talk all the time, and we would go give the same speech. I would know the speech was valuable. I'd know I was going to help people think differently, but I was afraid everyone was going to hate me. He would know that he could get everyone laughing and everyone would love him, but he didn't think the speech would be of value. And so some of us are afraid of success. That would be me, and I have to learn social courage and actually be me, the engineering thing. And other people need to learn how to actually overcome their fear of failure and actually try things and that kind of thing. So the super achievers, though, that I've coached, famous, rich, millionaires, all this stuff. And again, even that sounds pretentious, but ultimately what you find out is that some of us are afraid of success because it's socially dangerous, and the more you shine, the more you're disliked. And that would be me. And Kevin is not afraid of success at all. He's afraid of failure. He's afraid that he's going to be a failure. And that all is based on core wounding and levels of self-belief. So the more belief you have, the more rare you are, and the more you have to dim your light around others in order to be belonging, to create belonging. The less belief you have, the more you fit in naturally, even though you don't want anyone to know you don't believe in yourself.
And you had said once that confidence is a muscle, it's not a gift. And that resonated with me so deeply, I think, in one of the podcasts you had said around those things. So what's one way someone can start training confidence, even if their inner voice is full of doubt?
So for me, if on the deepest level, I was afraid to be hated and disliked and villainized. So for me, I'm confident externally in achievement, very confident. I mean, I have no problem with that. But I don't have a lot of social confidence. So I don't have a lot of confidence in who I am, but I have a lot of confidence in what I can achieve. Okay, so that's the rarer one. So that's the smaller percentage of the population. If you're like Kevin, you have a lot of confidence in who you are. You feel very likable and relatable, and you feel like you belong, but you don't have a lot of confidence in your abilities. You feel like you're not smart enough or not good enough or not capable enough or that kind of thing. And so it depends whether you need more confidence in who you are or if you need more confidence in your abilities to. So one of them is confidence, which is your ability to achieve things externally. That's the more common confidence that people are talking about. The other one is more self-worth related. It's more, I'm confident in who I am as a man or as a woman, and I'm going to show up authentically, even around other people. And so the first step is to identify which one you need. For me, I was good at confidence externally, but I needed to show up as who I am. And so that's step one, is identify which one you struggle with most. Number 2 would be building self-belief or self-worth. Those are 2 different formulas. Okay, so I had high self-belief, low self-worth, so I had to build self-worth. Self-worth is keeping the small promises you make to yourself, investing in yourself, being socially courageous, setting and honoring clear boundaries, that kind of thing. Making sure you're treated with respect, not tolerating being treated poorly. All right, I sucked at all that. Terrible. Now I'm better in my 30s due to therapy and some work. Kevin needed external self-belief. He needed competence, confidence. So that's another formula, and that's the more common one. So this formula is state-proof self-assigned. So you're an engineer, so you love formulas, so good. Awesome. So state is you state, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. You go and prove to yourself that you actually can keep the promise to yourself. And then you self-assign it. See, I did that. The problem is that these people are in a conundrum. Number one, this is unconscious. Number two, this happens as a kid. So I never knew that I had high self-belief. I thought everyone did because everyone was mirroring me. I thought because everyone around me has goals and dreams and all that kind of stuff. So you live in this echo chamber where you think everyone has confidence because no one wants you to know that they don't believe in themselves. So they fake it, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't know any difference because you're not faking it, but you don't know that they are. And it's not till you get older and you realize, oh, so that's not real confidence. Okay, so you didn't actually intend on that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so to give this to everybody, when I was a kid, apparently unconsciously, subconsciously, I was doing this formula of you say, I'm going to do X, you do X, and then you self-assign that you did X, which then builds your self-belief. It's also known in psychology as self-efficacy. You can build it. But you won't build it. Why would someone with no self-belief set big goals?
Yeah.
And if you don't set goals, you can't state, prove, and self-assign. So you're basically in this conundrum of, I don't believe in myself, so I don't set goals, which then guarantees I don't build self-belief. And then you just fake it till you make it, quote unquote, and you pretend you're confident when you're not, but you actually feel stuck in your real life. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of people are, and I try to help those people as best I can, but a lot of them don't like me.
But you explained it so beautifully, and thank you for bringing all the aspects out. So how do you personally check in with your mindset? Like, do you journal? Do you track progress? I think you did mention about tracking progress, or reflect in specific way.
Yeah, so I do this with my clients. This is a really powerful exercise, actually. So all of us, I think, tie our self-esteem to a couple things. I used to believe you could change this. I actually, over the years, I've been mentoring for 10 years, coaching for 8, thousands of hours. Literally, I have them all tracked. I just surpassed 7,000 hours of one-on-one coaching.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a trip.
Wow, beautiful.
I have 3 clients 3 times a week. So it's been wild. And it's my favorite work in the world. It's also where I learn the most. So we do this exercise where we write the top 3 things that you tie your self-esteem to. Now, you gotta understand, it's not socially acceptable to tie your self-esteem to what car you drive. But if that's the truth, you gotta be honest about it, okay? And so I'll give you Kevin's, I'll give you mine, and then I'll give you another client anonymously. So mine are, number 1 is my relationship with Emilia. So if my relationship with her is not good, I have a really hard time coming here and being my best self. So that's number 1. Number 2 is being a freak athlete. I was tall and lanky, and I didn't hit puberty until I was late, and I was the loser in high school who got pity dances from his older sister, who was the most popular girl in the school, and her friends would like give me a pity dance because I was overlooked. I was short and prepubescent, so I just was not athletic necessarily. I was tall and lanky later on, but I was short and fat before that, and so I was bullied a lot. So for me, I tie a lot of self-esteem to physicality. So being really, really athletic is really important to me. Okay, so that's number 2. And then number 3 is my body of work. I hate doing poor work. So right now, I do believe that this episode is going well. I think this is pretty strong.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is pretty strong. And my body of work matters a lot to me, and the quality of my work matters a lot to me. And so when the quality of my work is high, when I'm on point in fitness and physicality, and my relationship is good, I am my best self. My self-esteem is high. If those 3 were in the tank, I wouldn't even have been able to show up here. Okay? Now I'll give you Kevin's. Kevin's is money in the bank, the car he drives, and being a bodybuilder, being in really good shape. Okay, those are his. If those 3 things are winning, Kevin's the best version of himself. Another client. Hers, I gotta close my eyes for this so I can remember. Hers is number 1, and again, she's not proud of this, but this is the truth. Number 1 is physical appearance. Number 2 is relationship status. And number 3 is being seen as capable. So if she's seen as capable, she has a strong relationship, and she is She literally broke it down: hair, makeup, and physique. So she broke it down. I'm an engineer, so we break everything down. Now, here's the truth. Most people are not honest enough with themselves to admit that. It's not easy for Kevin to admit that the car he drives affects his self-esteem. The car I drive doesn't change my self-esteem, but it does for him. But that's not socially acceptable, so we don't say it, therefore we don't leverage it. And so all I'm saying is whatever you uncover, whatever's true for you, you have to learn yourself and then actually make sure those things are winning so that you can be your best self. Because we all know that when we have low self-esteem, we're not as good a people. And I think that a world where everyone works on their self-esteem and the top leverage points for their self-esteem, that's how the world becomes a better place. And that's the gas in the tank too. If you want to achieve your goals and dreams without self-esteem, good luck with that.
Wow. Okay, that was a strong one, and you mentioned it very beautifully, and thank you for bringing that up. So, a question based on the same thing. A lot of people chase success, hoping that they will get peace. And when they finally arrive, some feel unfulfilled. What is the reason behind that?
That the success and the goals were vanity goals. They weren't soul goals. And I did that too, right? So stepdad left, took 90% of the income with him, went from boats and ski trips to I get free lunch at school now because our income is so low. I hope I get into college because even if I do, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go because it was $50,000 a year to go to engineering school and that was back then. So we didn't have money, right? So my goals were to earn as much as possible because I looked into the future and I saw, okay, no trust fund, no dad, no generational wealth. I'm in some trouble here. My family's in some trouble here. I got to do something about this. So I got straight A's through high school. I got all the financial aid and scholarships I could. I went to WPI, one of the best engineering schools in the world, and it was really expensive, and I got financial aid and scholarships, and I got my master's in business, and then I went to corporate, and I was a 1% earner in my early 20s. Global earner, not 1% for the US, but globally 1%. Yeah. And when you're a top 1% global earner in your early 20s, when you came from high school and college being broke, you realize, okay, money helped, but it didn't solve everything. It didn't make me fulfilled. So I think the real reason people achieve goals and are unfulfilled is because those goals are not in alignment with who they really are. They're not in alignment with their core values. They're not in alignment with high self-awareness. So what I do with my clients first is we set up goals, priorities, metrics, habits, and skills. Okay, goals, priorities, metrics, habits, and skills. And once those are in alignment, the last piece is we send you off to the races, and the next time we meet, we see how you did. And we realize, okay, there's some identity work that needs to be done. Because either the goals, priorities, metrics, habits, and skills are not aligned, or you're not aligned with them. So what we find typically is we set up the goals, priorities, metrics, habits, and skills, and then we send you off and you don't do it. And the reason you don't do it is either one, it's not aligned, or two, you have some blocks, some identity blocks, some fears, some goals in conflict, some inner core values in conflict. And that's when we get to the goods. And that's the inner work that needs to be done. Because I can reverse engineer exactly how to achieve a goal. What I need to do is, I always say this and I hope it lands, I can easily teach you how to get in great shape, but very few people can get you to actually do it. I have to learn how to get you to do it. I have to re-engineer from the inside out. And a lot of times that's just uncovering who you really are, and then you can align your goals with who you really are, and then it's off to the races. And that's when not only you'll achieve the goal, but you'll actually be fulfilled along the way, and you'll be extra fulfilled when you do achieve the goal. And then you'll just want to up the ante, because it's actually in alignment with your true potential.
Wow, that is empowering, and thank you for sharing that. So what's one micro habit that completely transformed the way you live and you feel?
It's habit tracking.
Habit tracking.
10 years ago, I had these little black notebooks that are actually in the corner of my office, and I used to have a mechanical pencil, and I would write down all my habits, and I had a little box and I would check them off every day, and then I'd erase them and check them off and erase them. And habit tracking, I now use Google Sheets. So all my team members and clients track habits, and it's metrics and habits. So metrics is something you measure. Habits is, we do 0, 0.5, and 1. So imagine a spreadsheet. You have a column of all your habits. So let's say meditate 10 minutes. Okay. 1 means you did it. 0.5 means you did 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. And then 0 means you didn't do it. So we do green, yellow, red, keep it simple. Green, you did it. Yellow, you kind of did it. 0, red, you didn't. But ultimately, habit tracking is the best micro habit that I've ever done, because once you set up the train tracks towards your goals and dreams, it's a matter of improving them and staying consistent on them and then iterating along the way. So most people just don't have any sort of system. I call it a system of success. Success is repeatable. It's doable. But you need a system that you iterate upon. And whether it's Apple or Amazon or whatever, like these companies have what's called SOPs, standard operating procedures. You know that. Why not have an SOP for your life that keeps your life on track? But most people want to wing it. And if you wing it, good luck. Good luck. You're not going to get repeatable, consistent results with winging it. And so I work really well with people who have high humility, high work ethic, and low self-worth. Because those people, I can help them believe in themselves more and lift them up. But the people I don't work well with are the people who have low work ethic, are arrogant and entitled, who want big rewards for minimal effort. You're never going to get big rewards for minimal effort unless you lie through your teeth, and that's not what I'm about. So, but if you have a sincere interest to achieve, achievement is doable. I mean, these goals are, you can reverse engineer. If you want to build a phone, you can take apart a phone, learn how it works, learn how to build it, and then you can start to build it. Now, you're not going to build the iPhone overnight, but you can start a company and you can have systems where you improve the phone, improve the process, and why not do that same thing to your own life? So that's what I do for people, is I help them align their goals, metrics, priorities, habits, and skills, and then I help them uncover the blocks that they have about their self-concept to actually, be able to execute, and then iterate along the way. And eventually, exponential results start to come. And I have one client who I've been coaching for 6 years who's achieved like way beyond her wildest dreams. And she'll be the first to tell you that. But it's a system. We're not winging it. There is no winging it. You don't just, guesswork doesn't work. Guesswork is how you get lucky. But I'm an engineer, so forgive me. I think winging it is dumb.
Yeah, I think the same. So let's play a fun rapid fire round.
I tend to be long-winded, so this is going to be tough. Yeah, I got you. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's why I put it. I'm just kidding. It was like, okay, let's do something like this. I've never done it before with any guest. You are the first one.
Okay, cool.
So
I'm honored.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see how it goes. So
if this goes off the rails, this will be the last time.
So let's start. So one book that changed your perspective forever.
The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler.
Okay. A guilty pleasure that grounds you.
Movies. Magnificent films.
Okay. A piece of advice you would have given your 20 years old self.
Alan, you are naive about people, and you are surrounding yourself with the wrong people. You need to be far more discerning with who you surround yourself with.
If you weren't doing this work, what would you be doing otherwise?
I'd be a teacher. I'd be an educator. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's it. Those were the questions. You did great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought for sure I was going to be long-winded, but rapid fire, baby.
So you said something when I asked you about the questions about the people, what you would do in 20s and what you would tell yourself. So talking about that, do you sense energy of the people while talking with them?
I do now. I grew up in an environment that was very challenging and in some cases extremely toxic. And I grew up hard, for sure. And I didn't know that at the time, because when you're a kid, you don't know any different. Dad died at 2, stepdad left at 14. I still have not seen him or a single member of his entire extended family. They're all gone. And then that same year, my mom got in a fight with my Aunt Sandy, and we got ostracized from her side of the family too. To this day, I've only ever spent time with 2 people from her side. And my birth father, it was John McCorkle. It was Jim, Joe, John, Jane, Joan, Jeanette, 6 siblings, and he was one of 6. And when we were the Lazaroses, with my stepfather around, we didn't really associate much with the McCorkles. So by the time I was 14, I kind of lost 3 families. And we've reconnected with the McCorkles, and that's been fine, but it was never the same, really. And so I was someone who kind of didn't understand where I belonged. I didn't have any sort of generational wealth. I didn't have a dad. So I think that was really hard, for sure. And I think that because there was so much turmoil in my childhood and change, I don't think I understood the different types of people and the environment I was in. So I'll give you this example. If you grow up in California and you feel an earthquake, it's all good. Earthquakes happen. I'm from Massachusetts. So if you feel an earthquake in Massachusetts, I mean, you don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
I think that we all grow up in a certain environment and we think it's normal. And then we get into a relationship and we realize, okay, so I'm speaking loudly and you consider this yelling. Where I grew up, this is just talking.
Yeah.
So you have to realize your normal's not normal. And so to answer your original question, I was not good at understanding how to read people. And now I actually have a filter that I use. It's called UNMEDSI. It's an acronym: unstable, naive, manipulative, entitled, delusional, significance-driven, arrogant, and immature. So the moment you and I met, I sized you up and said green. Yeah, absolutely. And that has caused me, so much success. My biggest bottleneck in life was surrounding myself with the wrong people. And so I had to create a filter. And as an engineer, you know what filters are. That made sure, so here's my people, and here's my definitely not people. I think everyone needs to do this for their own career. Here's my people that I work really well with, and here's my absolutely not, this can never work people. Now, again, I want to help everyone. Here's the problem. I have not been able to help people who want big rewards for minimal effort and who are arrogant and entitled and delusional. I just don't mix well with them. And for me, in my 30s, I made a decision to actually be more discerning, because it's important. The people you surround yourself with is probably the most important thing you can do. Like choosing the right people to be around, the right mentor, the right coach, choosing to get away from that friend who's toxic. I mean, that's the decision. Those are the hardest choices I've had to make, and they've made all the difference.
Yeah, basically staying honest with the core values you have and honesty with self. So if you could leave listeners with one thing to reflect on today, a question, a mindset, or a shift, what would it be?
Yeah, it would be personal responsibility. It would be, where are you not taking personal responsibility for your own life and your own future? It's really important to realize that everything we say, think, do, feel, and believe is within our control. And everything we do in response to what is said, done, thought, felt, and believed about us is also in our control. And so it wasn't my fault that my dad died. It wasn't my fault that my stepdad left. But it is my responsibility to find a way to make a life out of that. And I think that that's a really important thing. And if you don't have self-belief, the first step is to admit that to yourself and then to go and try to build it. Because people say, well, adversity is your advantage because it makes you stronger. That's only true if you have self-belief. I'm grateful that was true for me, because my response to adversity was to aim higher, work harder, and get smarter. But as I've learned and grown over the years, I've realized that's not the case for most people. And it's only because I believed in myself that was possible. And if you don't have self-belief internally, even though you fake it probably externally, if you don't have it inside, you're going to have to build it, because that's where I would start. Self-belief, humility, work ethic, like that's where you have to start.
Okay. I think we are end of the podcast. And it was insightful conversation, Alan. Thank you for bringing yourself in for this podcast. And I'm truly grateful to have you and your insights with me. I learned a lot, and as well as I'm sure our audience as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a sincere pleasure. And if you are interested, I would love to send you a link to the event too. It's going to be 6 hours of this personal growth, the very best stuff we've accumulated over the last 8 years. But ultimately, keep doing what you're doing, because this work is really important. And I don't take it lightly to be here. I'm very grateful, because for anyone watching or listening, what you're allowing into your mind is very much impacting your future. So I'm proud of you, and I'm really grateful to be here. And I hope that this work continues to perpetuate. Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.